Hey you guys, it's Amy Gretchen. In this Project Life video, I'm working on week 26 from 2017. So the first thing that I wanted to tell you about this week specifically was the title card that I used. That was actually a photo I took myself and a quote that I added myself. So I had at least 7 stories or photos that I wanted to put in those 4x6 pockets. And so I had this other photo of those yellow flowers that I took that I really liked. So I thought, you know what, I can make my own title card with that, which I've done in the past with other years. I think in 2014 and 15, I did that a lot more. I decided to create my own, and you can't really see it that well, but maybe in the photos you will be able to. But then I just put the dates on as well at the bottom. So it has the dates instead of stamping that. I just went ahead and did everything digitally. So really happy about the way that turned out and the way that looked. All right, so the next thing that you saw me do after I kind of put my photos in place and cut them up is I've got these 2 3x3 photos that I decided that I wanted to put in the 4x6 slots. And I can't remember if it's just that I didn't have enough 4x6 photos that I wanted to use, or if it's that specific, I had these specific stories that I wanted to tell and I wanted to add a little bit more detail than what the 1-inch. You know, usually with those 3x3 photos, I put like a 1-inch piece of cardstock underneath. So I felt like I had a little bit more to say, so that I wanted to have it on those 4x6 cards. So that's definitely one of the reasons why I decided to go that direction. So you see that I'm just slipping some photos into the pockets. And the next thing that I decided to do is to play with some paint. So I'm pretty excited about using these screen prints from Ali Edwards. So I've had them for a while and I've wanted to use them. You know, when you like tuck things away and you forget about them, I remembered and I wanted to use them. So I was super excited about it. And I pulled out 3 ink colors or paint colors that I liked. These ones are all from Studio Calico. It's their coral and the yellow, and I think it was limelight, coral bay, and sunshine maybe is what the yellow is called. So I pulled those out because I thought, you know, when I was looking at the photos, I thought there was a lot of greens and yellows, and I thought the coral would go really well with that as well. So that's kind of why I chose those. But I was looking at the spread, and what I wanted to do is I want to add maybe 3 of the screen prints to the spread at least 3 times. And so I thought it'd be good, you know, have one of each color maybe. And so before I got started, I was like, what color do I want to do that good times? And I wasn't sure. So I'm like, okay, actually what I should do is go through and look at my filler cards and my journaling cards and see what ones I want to use. And then maybe that would help me figure out what colors I wanted to use. Because for instance, I didn't want to have that bright filler card that you can see right there above the good times and then put good times in yellow, because it's just too much yellow, together. So I thought that it would be good to kind of then try and lay everything out and figure out what colors I want to do before I actually do the painting. So hopefully that makes sense. So that's why I took a little break and decided to go ahead and look for those cards. So you can see that I pulled the couple cards that I pulled out. So one of them is going to have some journaling on there, and the other one is definitely just a filler card there. So because that Nothing's Going to Stop Me Now is a blue color, one of the other things I decided to do was to swap the blue and the green. So I pulled out this blue color that's pretty close, if not matching. Like I said, my spread does not have to be matchy, but I do like it to have some things coordinated, especially when there's so many colors going on. It's kind of nice to have some things that make sense together. So I decided to do the blue on this card or on the good time. So I've just got a bag full of all this paint supplies that I have. And then what I was looking for is one of those credit cards that I have to when I'm working with paint. I've used that from time to time, but I couldn't find it. So I decided to, can't remember if I rummaged through my garbage or not, if this was sitting on my desk, but it's just a piece of cardstock that came from, I don't know, it came from something. And so I just used that because it was hard enough that it was able to let me spread, and it worked out great. It worked really well. One thing that you're not going to see me do in this video, but is really important when you're using these screen prints, is to, every time you use it, you need to wash it out immediately, because if you don't, then all the paint will stay in the screen, and then when you go to try and use it again, it won't work the way that it did the first time. So definitely wash it out every time you do it. It does take time, and you're not seeing that step because I'm, walking away and doing it, but I would definitely suggest doing that so you can use those screen prints more than one time. So I'm going ahead and I'm doing the same thing and kind of just smearing it around. The more paint you take off, the less texture we'll have, and vice versa. If you want it to be really textured, then you can make it a little bit more gloppy. You can see that I kind of messed up and got it on the edge, but I actually really like it. So that's why I decided to leave it and not worry about it. So this one that says heart this, I thought, you know what, this would be really cool to see if this will work on a photo. So this is one of those exploratory things that are fun to do, but I'm just letting you know from my experience that it did not work out, or I should say it was kind of cool. It wasn't near as opaque like I wanted it to, and I don't know if that was because it was on a photo or if that was the yellow. It could have just been the paint that it wasn't as opaque. But it wrecked the screen. So I was pretty sad about it. I didn't know at the time. You can see that it really stuck down to the photo a lot, and it curled up when I took it off. And you can see over there, it's just way curled up. And I did take it off screen and clean it out and bring it back. And that's what you're seeing is the cleaned up one. And you'll see that I try and use it a second time and it just does not work out. So I was really sad that I wrecked it. So keep that in mind. Learn from me that it doesn't really come off a photo. So if you want to do something like that, you might only get one chance to do it. Just wanted to let you be aware of that. So the next thing that I'm doing is on the week 25, I used an Instax photo, if you recall. And so I decided to use the back side of it, and I took a 3x4 card and I stuck it down, and I think it has little dots on it. And then I'm going to do another screen print. And again, I'm just looking at what I've already done and what I already have. And then I'm trying to figure out what color would be good, because you can see that I've already used every color. I've got the yellow, I've got the coral, and I've got the blue. So I'm trying to figure out which color that I think would be good for that. And I think I decide to do the coral one more time, which again, if I knew that I was going to have so much troubles, because I have this idea to fix the yellow. If I knew I was going to have so much troubles with the yellow and that I wasn't going to use the yellow after all, I probably would have done yellow, but I just decided to do coral. And I do like the way that looks, but then I end up having 2 coral pieces. So anyway, these are some things that you don't know about when you're working on stuff, and it's not, it's not something that you'd ever need to go back and change, but I just find it kind of interesting. So also on this, I kind of made a mess of it, that around that screen print, you don't have a lot of give, but I like the way that looked because it was paint and it was messy anyways. So I was really happy about the way that turned out anyway. So now you can see that I'm going to go in and I'm going to try and do more yellow. So I thought if I did it on white cardstock and I cut it off, that I could cover up the photo. And I think it's just because I wanted it to be more opaque. I wanted it to be more bold. You can see that I've tried this. I think I tried this 5 times. And just so you know, every time I'm done with it, I take it off, I go and clean it, and then I bring it back. And maybe I don't do that. Maybe that was one of my problems. So I think eventually I do take like stop the camera and go clean it out and then try it again and see if I can get like a better impression. But you can see it starts, for whatever reason, it started ripping the cardstock. You kind of saw that it pulled the cardstock, and I couldn't figure out why that was. If it's because I was holding it down and pressing pressing the screen print in, and so it was adhering more. Like, I literally have no idea, but I couldn't get it to work. Like, it's, for all intents and purposes, I feel like it's destroyed. So you see that I tried 6 times. I'm like, okay, I'm going to make this work. And I wasn't able to. So what I did is I began to cut out one of those, one of the ones that I think looks the best. And I start cutting it out. And then I'm going to put it on top of the photo. And I don't know if it was too big or what it was. Something about it I didn't like on top of that photo, at least while I was working on it. Right now, it's not bothering me too much. It might have had something to do with the love and the heart. This were kind of side by side. Excuse me. So I don't know what it was, but I end up not using it. And you'll see in a minute that I end up reprinting that photo because I just didn't like it. And I do wish that I would have kept the yellow heart this. And I still have that picture, and I could add that picture back in if I wanted to. But it's what it is right now. I'm not going to worry about it. So I'm just moving some things around and, trying to make everything fit the way that it feels good. And I've talked a lot about that before, is just, how I don't always know why I make changes that I do. Sometimes I do, but sometimes it's just based on feel. So I was having trouble with that food picture, and you'll see in a minute that I end up reprinting it and getting rid of the background. I think that's the floor or the table. So I end up cutting that out so it's just white, because that was kind of throwing me off. So I just went ahead, and now I'm doing some journaling and on each of those cards. And of course, I decided to do a small black outline, because I do like making the photo feel like it's grounded or set onto that piece. I definitely like the way that looks a lot better. And I was going to do that journaling with that photo of myself, but it was one of those ones I had to think about for a minute. Like, I had a lot that I wanted to say. And so I was trying to figure out exactly how to say it, because I knew I only had so much space. So I decided to set it aside and move on to one of the other cards. So I'm just creating this 3x3 photo card that I do almost every week. And I'm stamping the date and then doing just a little bit journaling on there. And I'm, putting it in place like I always do. Sometimes routines definitely help. So this is also something I made a mistake of. And so I decided I wasn't going to cut this out, just so you can see stuff like this happens. So I start writing the journaling, and to be honest, I can't really remember what that journaling was about. But as I was writing, I realized, I have a lot more to say. This is definitely going to take up more room than what's allotted to me. So I just grabbed over that 2x3 piece of cardstock that I'd cut out for another one of the photos. And then I just decided to do my journaling on there so that I could make it a little bit longer and say exactly what it is that I wanted to say. And then I will just adhere that right onto that cardstock. And you won't even know that it wasn't supposed to look like that, or that it, had a little bit less space for journaling. So I was happy the way that turned out. I actually really liked that pattern paper a lot. So now I'm, I came back to this photo of me, and I'm just doing the journaling there. Adding the journaling right onto the card, and then, of course, doing another outline of the photo just to help it feel grounded, and then slipping everything back in. So now is where you're seeing this photo that I reprinted, and I actually hate printing one photo, but I didn't have another one to print, and so I just decided to go ahead and just print the one. And you can see that I took out the background, and I don't know if you think it's better. It's definitely felt better to me. So that's why I went ahead and did it. And then that photo of my daughters, I remembered because I was looking through some stuff that was on the side of my desk, and I saw it. I had printed it out with another photo the week before, and I had forgotten about it. So I remembered and decided that of course I needed to stick that in, because anytime my kids take my phone and are taking like selfies and silly pictures with them, I have to add it. It's just something that I have to do. I think it really tells a great story about their personality, and so I definitely like to include that as well. So then I'm just writing a little bit of journaling about that food. I wasn't really writing so much about the food as I was writing about just having dinner with some friends. So that's what that photo was all about. So I'm just slipping everything in, and I believe this spread is done. You can see that I just needed to cut a little bit more off of that edge. Sometimes they are really tight going in. You can see that I reprinted that photo of my daughter mowing the lawn. And of course, I remembered that I didn't print it with the journaling, so that was a little frustrating after all. And then you can see that after all, I didn't even use that blue filler card, and it's totally fine that I have the blue paint without the blue card. I thought it worked out really great. I thought all those colors worked out really well with the spread. So again, you can see, and you're going to see this for a minute, how I'm shuffling things around. And like I said, I really do. Sometimes I know why I'm shifting things around, and sometimes it just is all about the way that it feels. And as I'm sitting here looking at it and filming it, like in my mind, I'm like, that looks off. I'm going to change that. So I just went ahead and I just flipped a few things around, and we are going to call this spread done, you guys. I hope that you are able to find a lot of inspiration from this. I definitely liked messing with my paints and my screens. If you have those, definitely pull them out and start playing with them. I had a lot of fun doing it, and need to remind myself that I've got to start using these supplies because they're fun. I have a lot of fun working with them. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for being here. If you like what you saw, please give this video a thumbs up, and we will catch you in the next one. Bye.